Hi friends, I'm Mike Malcolm, and this is Tri-Spired Tuesday, the video series that helps us evangelize Tulsa and the whole world using beautiful art and architecture of Holy Family Cathedral. Here at Holy Family and at every Christian church in the world, we put a high value on the gospel of Jesus Christ. And the four evangelists, Saints Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, have a special place in the church because of their work in writing the Gospels. Now, here at Holy Family, we've got two of the gospel writers up in the apse of the church with the other 12 apostles. Saints Matthew and John are figured up there. And in fact, the two huge columns that are in the apse of the church, those represent Matthew and St. John. And on the other side of the sanctuary are two big red pillars. These represent Saints Mark and Luke, the other gospel writers. Together, those four pillars hold a cross 251 feet above the sidewalks of Tulsa, proclaiming Jesus Christ to the whole city of Tulsa. That's the work of the evangelists holding up the gospel. And these four pillars literally hold up the cross of Jesus Christ. That's great. But let's look at some stained glass windows. Up here are a pair of windows that belong to Saints Mark and Luke. Now they're holding a quill, which is representative of anyone who writes a book of the Bible, specifically Gospels, and they're holding a book which represents sacred scripture in front of them. But who's who? There's no other symbols. We know that Mark was younger. We know that Luke was a physician who lived in Alexandria, but there's no symbols that tell one from the other. The only thing I can spot is that one of the men has a grayer beard than the other. And so I've just decided that must be Luke because Mark was identified as being very young. I don't know the answer to this. Do you have any insight into this? I Googled it, and other churches have windows that depict the four evangelists, but they don't know who's who. St. John's usually pretty easy because he's so young, he doesn't have a beard. And then St. Matthew is sometimes depicted as older as well, and he's one of the apostles, so it's easy to pick him out. Luke and Mark, I don't know. Leave a message in the comments, and if you have any insight at all, and I'd love to get Saints Mark and Luke sorted out. Thanks for watching. I will see you next week.